Hello there ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mk.5, but you may call me Paul. Welcoming you to our first ever Armoured Warfare video for this channel. And today's video will be a gameplay review featuring none other than the British main battle tank, or MBT, known as the Chieftain Mk.5. A widely known and respected main battle tank historically, and in-game represented at Tier 5 along the Shishkin dealership line. It is a versatile vehicle, featuring good gun depression, a very high health pool for its tier, and indeed a very powerful 120mm cannon, meaning that it can hold its own against tier for tier opponents or those above it. But this will not be a review today, and the Chieftain in question, our own Chieftain Mk.5, is fully upgraded. You may assume for all future videos of Armoured Warfare, unless specified, that the vehicles in question are fully upgraded. Our setup with the Chieftain Mk.5 then is as follows. For our commander, we are using Philip Holzclaw with the following skills: Pack Tactics, Fire at Will, Bullseye, Fitness Training and Vigilant. For our crew, I myself shall be driving the vehicle. I'm at a rank of 3 and I have the skill of Spin to Win. The rest of the crew are all rank 3 as well, with Sabine Fisher acting as our gunner and having the skill of Quick Draw, whilst our loader, Olivia Johnson, has the skill of Rapid Fire. For our ammunition, we can carry a maximum of 48 rounds. 30 of those rounds will be the 120mm L23 armour-piercing fin-stabilised discarding sabot, with penetration on average of 300mm and an average damage of 388. The other 18 rounds will be the 120mm L31 high explosive squash head or HESH rounds, with a penetration of 20mm, a maximum damage when penetrating of 335, and a maximum damage when not penetrating of 223. For our retrofits we have the following. In our universal slot we have the Intercom Systems Mk.2 retrofit, which provides us with a 6.25% buff to our crew skills. In our first armour retrofit schematic we have the Internal Hull Reinforcement Mk.1, providing an additional 7.5% to our overall HP total, or hit points total, taking us from the starting baseline of 1820 to 1956. We do not have a second armour retrofit, as we do not have one available at the moment. But for our firepower retrofit schematic, we have the Experimental Propellant Mk.1, which provides us with a 5% boost to the damage we deliver. For our consumables, we have the following: Repair Kit, First Aid Kit, and Fire Extinguisher, which work in a very similar manner to the ones available in World of Tanks, another massively multiplayer online, free-to-play action game. The differences between this game, Armoured Warfare, and World of Tanks are rather unique and actually make this game rather different from its World of Tanks counterpart. But for the uninitiated, this is a game which revolves around 15 versus 15 player versus player matches, alternatively 5 versus many player versus enemy or AI matches, featuring vehicles from the start of the Cold War, such as the M41 Walker Bulldog, all the way up to modern day, such as the M1 Abrahams. And without further ado, let us get into our gameplay for today. Today's gameplay is taken from the standard rendition of the map River Point. It is a primarily Tier 5 game with some Tier 4 and Tier 6 vehicles included. We shall be starting from the southern side, in particular the southwest spawn. Our game strategy will be to push into the central town region, i.e. the circle denoted on the minimap in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, and make our way from there along the eastern side of the town. It is our prerogative to use our high health pool by comparison to the rest of the Tier 5 MBTs, our reasonably high fire rate of 1 round every 7.87 seconds, and our decent armour profile along our upper front plate, which is heavily sloped, and our front armour on our turret, in order to try and gradually whittle down the health of our opponents that we encounter in the town and win the day for our team, or at least support the victory. The reason we are not pushing around the western side of the town is that it is overexposed, or at least in my experience, to the likes of TDs, i.e. tank destroyers, and armoured fighting vehicles or AFVs. These vehicles have higher view ranges and higher camo profiles by comparison with MBTs such as the Chieftain here, and this means that they can shoot us well before we can shoot them, especially from the western flank across the river, which has a number of very good sniping spots along the ridgeline. We need to be very careful then not to go around that western side, otherwise our health pool would dwindle dramatically. Whilst the Chieftain is good at its overall acceleration, it is slow by comparison with a number of the AFVs it encounters, such as the Fox. This means that a number of our AFVs have already pushed down the western flank and are spotting enemy vehicles. Han picked up the first vehicle of the day, an MBT-70, the Tier 6 MBT, which is a premium and a very powerful vehicle. They have also picked up on an ERC-90 F4, which will be exposed as it is trying to push up the hill on the western side. We're going to take a snapshot and land it for 353 HP with an overmatch, either round has over-penetrated the target. With our rather quick acceleration in reverse, we're able to reverse back down the ridgeline we came over in order to avoid any return fire from the ERC, who will most likely want to get a revenge shot into us. As we have seen a number of enemy vehicles push down the western flank rather early, and quite a lot more than perhaps anticipated by our allies, we are going to wait it out just outside of the southern region of the town, and try to get some sniping shots across the river, if the MBT-70 in particular decides to push forward even further. We will know when to retreat back down the ridgeline we have come up of, simply because we will have a spotting indicator which is available to everyone from the outset in the game. This is a very different game mechanic by comparison with World of Tanks, where you have to unlock the spotting indicator with your crew. That aside, we continue to wait, and we notice the MBT-70 is taking fire and we have been spotted, most likely from the ERC-90, which perhaps is aiming in order to try and obtain its damage bonus, as tank destroyers get a damage bonus when they are fully aimed in and stationary, and we do not want to lose any of our health as of yet. This means we have to change tactics and go around the eastern side of the town, but not into the town as of yet. But we can employ our 10 degrees of gun depression to gradually make our way around the hillside here and ensure that our turret and upper front plate are the only parts of us that are exposed until we go into the town. We are taking the initiative here as we are now heading round onto an open side of the map where the enemy can shoot us from the back of their spawn or from the eastern flank. We push up, only taking a high explosive hit, most likely from a PZ-57, and we fire a shot, unfortunately throwing it into the upper front plate of the T-72. We use our side scraping technique as learnt from World of Tanks here in order to throw a shot off of the T-72 Ural and fire one into their lower front plate for a good amount of damage. We continue to side scrape here, absorbing some high explosive rounds from the PZ-57, but we also take a penetrating high explosive anti-tank ATGM, an anti-tank guided missile, from the PZ-57 for a nasty amount of damage, and that was a mistake on our part. We tried to hit the T-72 Ural here, but unfortunately hit some of the street furniture, and instead of continuing as the T-72 has retreated significantly, and we know we cannot push around the right hand side of the town once again as there are some enemies waiting to snipe us from that position, we decide instead to push further into the centre of the town. The T-72 has retreated out of the town, but we believe the PZ-57 is still trying to hold its ground. It has been spotted by one of our allies, or indeed we have actually spotted it here, and we can just see its track line, which we will over-penetrate in order to cripple the track lines. Once achieved, we are just waiting for the reload, and we are going to finish off the PZ-57, who is none the wiser. With our first kill in the bag, we must now turn our attention to the overrun western flank. We can see it has not been overrun with a good portion of our allies being killed, but just simply because the enemy team have concentrated their main push down the western side. A friendly T-72 has also noticed this, and we are going to try and continue to stay in the town to provide ourselves with cover, but return fire from the town. Unfortunately, our snapshot on the PZ-57 misses, and we can see the ERC-90 F4 hiding up on the hill. They fire one at our turret and ricochet, and we take them out through return fire. We also ricocheted a shot from an MBT-70, which is pushing into our spawn and towards our cap, showing how the Chieftain's armour, when it only exposes its turret and upper front plate, is rather powerful. We now turn our attention to a Leopard Mk.5, which is hiding round the western side of the town, or at least in the northwest corner. They are on the outskirts, and we know that they have the higher fire rate and manoeuvrability by comparison with us, and this means that we have to be careful with how we deal with them. On top of this, we can already see how the western side of the town is more exposed, with the enemy spawn having some good sniping positions along the northern and western side of the town. Although an enemy artillery piece has been spotted, and we are going to throw a shot into them. We believe the shot may have hit, although we will never know until the end of the game. We have been spotted as well, so we need to take the initiative and close in on the leopard, who seems to be engaging one of our allies. We throw a shot into their engine, unfortunately not achieving a critical, but we do some damage. We reverse away and they take some more hits, so we come around and try to throw another shot in. We throw it into the side of their armour but overmatch and they take out our tracks. We need to take this leopard out as fast as possible, so we use our repair kit on our tracks and the leopard tries to retreat behind some cover. But fortunately for us, the wall, as they throw a shot past us, the wall which they're going to hide behind has some holes in it and we can shoot through them. We pick up another nice hit of 418 damage, and we're starting to take some return fire from the enemy artillery, who seems to have focused on us for the time being. But as we can see, our high health pool means that we can stay in the fight with just under a third of our health remaining. The Mk.5 is up on the hill and we achieve an overmatch on their armour. We are continuing to use the armour piercing discarding sabot rounds rather than switch to Hesh, as they have a high muzzle velocity and we need to be able to get those snapshots off as fast as possible. We should also note that our targeting time or aim time of 2.2 seconds is really coming in handy here to get those accurate shots, and that has worked to our advantage throughout the course of the game where we have not always had time to aim our shots in fully, especially by comparison with other vehicles such as the T-72 which have aim times in excess of 3.5 seconds. There's an enemy Mk.5 just behind the ridgeline being swamped by our allies, which means we'll not be able to take them out, but we're just waiting in case we can get some shots into them. And at the same time, as the Mk.5 gets wiped out, we make our way round on the western side of the town, on the outskirts, to try and find the last enemy vehicle. It is an M109 artillery piece, and it is swiftly eliminated by a friendly chieftain on our team. This puts the victory in the bag, and it is time for us to take a look at the post-game stats. From the progression stat overview, we can see that using a standard account, we picked up a total of 1,752 XP, and 93,998 credits. Our major contributions in the game were a damage total of 3,360, spotted 6 enemy vehicles, and achieved 4 assists on enemy vehicles. Our awards were the Sniper Award for being the most accurate out of our team, and the Gold Medal Award for achieving the highest amount of experience out of our team. From looking at the performance chart, we can see that we did actually hit the Jawodstika artillery piece, dealing 318 damage, most likely from an overmatched shot. On top of this, we can also note a general trend that apart from the damage dealt to the Leopard Mk.5, a total of 1,103 health points, we managed to attribute a good amount of damage across all the targets we faced, just trying to pick off shots where appropriate whilst maintaining our health pool and trying to contribute to the victory. By looking at the teams page, we can see that we dealt the most damage by comparison to the rest of our team by a significant margin of approximately 900 health points. This, and the fact that we spotted the equal highest number of enemy vehicles, 6 as attributed across 3 other players on our team, is where we most likely picked up the majority of our experience and therefore came top of our team. Although we should note that the experience totals attributed to our top 5 players, if not our top 6 or 7 players, are very closely matched, and this just goes to show it was a team effort and not the effort of 1 or 2 individuals. Finally, coming onto the details page, we can quantify our Sniper Award from earlier by seeing that out of the 14 shots we fired, 12 of them landed on target. The only other item to note is in terms of our final count of credits. After repair and resupply, we ended up with a net total of 75,645 credits, a rather healthy pool, and enough to go towards buying the Challenger 1 one day. But that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen, and if you've enjoyed this video, why not leave a like, comment or subscribe for future Armoured Warfare videos on this channel. I've been TX141, and until next time, take care, and good luck on the battlefield.